Hello there, my name's Lorne Riseley, host of Defunct Games News, and I'm tired of this. I think it's time to ascend to my higher form. Super CNN form. And this is Defunct Games News, the last word on gaming news of the week. Coming up this week. Seen you later! A new emulator turns 2D NES games into fully fledged 3D worlds. Nintendo as Nintendo attempts to address the Joy-Con drift issues. And coming up later in the show, Unrelease the Beast. A game is doing so poorly, it had to be unreleased. But coming up now, our first story of the week. If you happened upon Steam recently, you may have come across a new Nintendo Entertainment System emulator that has a rather special party trick. The new emulator, called 3D Sen, translates the 2D pixel graphics of classic 8-bit games into 3D worlds built with voxels. It has Standard and Standard Plus VR versions, and it lets you experience a number of games from the NES library from unusual and nostalgia-inducing perspectives. Some titles available include Spy Hunter, Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Tetris Nintendo, Pac-Man, Mega Man 1-3, Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Bomberman, Castlevania, Donkey Kong, and Contra. And of course there's the one game that every newsreader fears to read for fear of faux pas. Duck Hunt. Ha! Nailed it, Carlos, you Told you I'd nail it, and that's why nobody likes you, and that's why you grovel at my feet, that's why you feed on the scraps, the things that I do—
Lorne, we're still live.
Oh. Some have commented on their disappointment in the limited number of games available. The developer has stated that it is a tremendous amount of work to convert all the graphics of even simple NES games into voxels, polygons, and skyboxes, with some taking weeks or even months to render. Created by Tran Vu Truck of Geode Studio, it can run most NES games to a decent level of accuracy on top of its 3D-rific abilities, which can convert up to 70 games from boring old Dos Dimensiones to the mind-blowing third-dimensional plane. And that's before you even get to its VR capabilities. 3D Sen's VR version already supports standard VR controllers and offers a virtual light gun experience. Some have even speculated that potential exists for adding a motion-based mechanic such as punching to a game like Punch-Out, enabling players to have some chance to knock out Mike Tyson in VR before you offer to fight him in real life, Tito Ortiz. However, don't get excited, as this application is still some time away. At the moment, this technology is also limited in its scope and application to certain types of games. And ironically enough, any game that already has a 3D element to its design presents just a bit too much of a challenge for the emulator to handle at this present time. But as it's currently available on Steam, priced at £7.19 or around $9 if you're of the American variety, it's a hell of a gimmick to boast about. And I, for one, can't wait to jump into a variety of different three-dimensionally rendered worlds of some of my most nostalgically fun games. Although the VR version is another $15 on top of that, so it's going to be up to you as to whether or not that particular juice is worth that particular squeeze. But if you do decide to give it a try, let us know what you thought of it in the comment section below or in the Discord. And now for this week's edition of Remember This. And this week we have an array of gaming goodness, rather centering on the reactions of gamers. Coming in with meme number one, well, frankly, if you've never played an indie game that has brought you to the point of questioning life as a concept and whether or not it's even worth rebooting the game for fear of you launching your console or PC out the window, have you really gamed? The second meme we have for you here is maybe just a personal issue of mine, but I can personally attest to the fact that when I finish most games, I have more save files than I know what to do with. I mean, I have more save files than there are stars in the sky or zeros in Ninja's ill-earned bank account. And the third meme, well, because if there's anything as delectably delicious as revenge on some pesky campers in this world, I sure don't know what it is. Now, Nintendo president, or Shicho, for those of you non-fluent in Japanese, such as myself, Shintaro Furukawa, took his time to apologize this week for problems with the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con. During a recent Q&A, he acknowledged the somewhat technical issues of the Joy-Con, and indeed the issues raised by complainants who are struggling with a faint drifting sensation when utilizing their rather expensive piece of technological entertainment. He was later quoted as saying, "We apologize for any inconvenience caused to our customers regarding Joy-Con. We will do our best to ensure that our customers can use our services and products with peace of mind," while doing his utmost to avoid directly addressing the floating elephant in the room, one suspects due to the pending lawsuit and any ramifications that could befall the humble Shicho, and acknowledging any inherent faults. The lawsuit itself was originally filed in 2019 with the great state of California, which I'm told, if I'm not mistaken, is, here it is. California knows how to party. They keep it rocking, yo. That's from my homies, Tupac and Dr. Dre, who, fun fact, is the second most searched for doctor on YouTube behind Dr. Phil, and just ahead of a mustached Dr. something or other. The lawsuit alleges that steel brushes inside Joy-Cons rub away soft carbon material that would make up a pad surface inside the controller. Extensive wear, according to the lawsuit, is what ultimately causes the drift issue, which at the time of the 2019 filing, Nintendo had failed to acknowledge, leading to customers having to pay Nintendo to repair the controllers, and worse still, some claim the fixes weren't always adequate. One may even venture to say that the Joy-Con is truly a Joy-Con, yes. That is some solid comedy there. They might end up having to lock me up in the penitentiary. Nintendo, meanwhile, are of course concerned about the lawsuit, but still sit pretty as this generation draws to a close, having comfortably overtaken Microsoft as a second best-selling console provider, who themselves have detractors since the infamous Red Ring of Death that plagued the Xbox 360 upon its release. Luckily, my original Xbox still works a treat. Jealous? Of course you are. Carlos, I don't care what you need from me right now. I don't have time. I'm in the middle of the news. Thank you. Oh, hello there. So, I thought I'd take this section of the video to help gin up Defunct Games just a little bit here, because of course, you know, I'm nothing if not a helper. So I thought I'd reference a few videos that you may have missed from Cyril this week, and that we would heartily recommend that you go back and check out, as well as keeping an eye out for any videos that are releasing in the coming days. First of all, he reviewed Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe by Defunct Studios. Available now on PC, Cyril comments that while not especially interactive, Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe has enough mystery and intrigue to keep this episodic full-motion video game afloat. Sounds interesting. He also reviewed Epic Dumpster Bear 2 by Log Games, available now on PlayStation 4 and PC, and Cyril says if you're looking for a side-scrolling platformer released in 2020 that stars a bear, then Epic Dumpster Bear might be for you. Again, sounds reasonably interesting. I should definitely go check those out if you haven't done already. Weird side note though, we had a piece of fan mail this week. Odd, we don't have a mailing address, but nevertheless it found its way to us. According to this, it's not even a piece of fan mail, really. It's a job application from a certain Dr. D, who's looking to see if Defunct Games are after anyone for a long-form content creation basis. I think this one is best served for a certain other doctor, wouldn't you say? No! There you go, Dr. D. Hope that answers your question. And finally this week, we think we wrap up as we always do with a few little fun stories to help you get your week started right and remind you that gaming above all else is just dope-tastic. So let me just have a quick look at my prompter here, because I'm assured this is going to stay a classy show this week, hence the attire. Now let's have a look. So kicking us off, a self-confessed sex addict claims hot female gamers on Twitch have caused him to injure his penis and is suing the platform for a perfectly reasonable $25 million. Bear with us, viewers. In a 56-page legal document filed at Santa Clara County Court on the 15th of June, San Francisco's own Eric Estavillo claimed that the Amazon subsidiary had subjected him to overly suggestive and sexual content from various female streamers, leading to him sustaining his tragic injuries, having followed up to 786 female gamers. The Right Honourable Gentleman is demanding a permanent ban on all 786 listed streamers and $25 million in punitive damages. And this is before you mention his unsuccessful lawsuits against other companies such as Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and Blizzard Entertainment. I suppose it shouldn't be that surprising that he spends so much time fucking himself when it's evident from that he's clearly very unsuccessful at fucking others.
Stop! He's already dead!
Anyway, moving on, Amazon has announced that its team-based shooter, Crucible, is now not going to be a fully released game anymore. After a poor launch and a lukewarm reception thereafter, Crucible franchise lead Colin Johansson has stated that the game would enter a closed beta on Wednesday this week, and it will continue to follow the development roadmap that it had previously laid out, which in an era that includes Fortnite only now coming out of early access roughly 3,000 years later, is stunning to say the least. But the developer went on to say that the game itself is not dead, but they will allow time now to take the opportunity to listen to the community feedback, to address the issues raised, and will aim to re-release the game at a later date. Crucible, developed by Relentless Studios and published by Amazon Games, is a free-to-play, team-based PvP action shooter. Pick an alien, human, or robot hunter to fight in 4v4 matches, and it was described at best as boring by most reviewers and players. I for one hope that they take this time and re-release the game in a more successful state, otherwise it may be the only game in history to successfully pull off the feat of doing the actual hokey cokey. You know, you put your game in and then you take it out, in, out, release it with expanded DLC and microtransactions. Again, solid comedy this week, I think you'll agree. And finally this week, Worms is getting a new release, and you'll never guess what genre of game it's being released as. That's right, as a real-time battle royale game called Worms Rumble. Worms Rumble will include a battle royale mode, where you can play either by yourself or as a trio. And over the course of the game, the arena will get progressively smaller, as of course is tradition, with the team mode offering the bonus of allowing players to revive their downed teammates. Fans of the 1995 version and beyond will be in for a bit of a shock though, given its original turn-based roots, because this sucker is a real-time game where players can roll around, do wall jumps, and dodge incoming projectiles, which all draw from a limited stamina bar. Worms Rumble will be available on the PlayStation 4 and 5 later this year, with Team 17 teasing that the game will support cross-platform play, but they did not state what other platforms the game will be available on. Another game that has cross-platform play. Popular franchise. Seems crossplay as a concept should get some coverage. Maybe someone should do a story on that. Well, that's been the happenings of the week. My name's been Lorne Riseley. This has been Defunct Games News. Be sure to check out the Defunct Games Discord, and indeed stay tuned for all of the videos that my esteemed colleague Cyril has planned for you this week. And from me, Cyril, and the good folks here at Defunct Games News, I want to say thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. That was an excellent show, guys. Except for you, Carlos. You did a terrible job as always.
Lord! Oh, it's great to see you. It's good
Cyril,
to finally be able to talk to somebody.
Oh, yeah, it's
man.
nice to
You're
talk to
never
you too.
going to believe the week that I've been having. If it wasn't
really?
one thing, it was something else. I've been fighting YouTube all week trying to get the 99th episode of Game Over up, but it's just not working.
Episodes.
Oh, it's really annoying. But I
annoying.
didn't come here to talk about how YouTube is flagging all of the content, because I just want to tell you, Lorne, that you're doing a great job. I mean it. I've watched all of these episodes, and I've been thoroughly impressed with what you've done here. You've taken it from nothing to something that's actually a thing. It's confident, sure-footed, and knows exactly what it wants to be, and you deserve a lot of credit for that. I think we can all agree that you're doing a bang-up job here, and I really have nothing to complain about. Actually, hang on. Oh no. Okay, those are the wrong notes. Oh boy, this
What,
is so
the
embarrassing.
roleplay
I'm
praise?
terribly sorry, but
Okay.
that was meant for the cameraman, Carlos. Yeah, he's
You?
doing a great job and probably deserves a raise, to be honest with you. You, on the other
You
hand,
think that's funny?
oh boy, where do I even start?
Shut
I
up,
mean,
Carlos.
your
You're
hands
still
are
talking.
cartoonishly big, and you keep calling the channel Defunct Gaming, and there are all those
1 to
Family
20
Guy
times.
cutaways, and worst of all, you didn't even do the challenge of the week last week.
What are you
Did you
talking about,
not
Cyril?
check the back of the envelope? Come on, you have to
Back
do
of
the
the-
challenge. That's the whole point of them. Man to man here, it's not like anybody's tuning in to see you talk about Ninja. So
Some
where
people
do we
do.
go from there? I guess the people upstairs have
That's
been
not
talking, and
fair.
they've come up with what I think is a fair punishment. We're going to give
Punishment?
Carlos and the rest of the crew a day off because they've definitely earned it. You,
No,
however,
you
are going to
did
need to go
not.
and present the
Don't
news
listen to
in the
him.
middle of a forest. Yeah, just out in the middle of nowhere. That means you better pack a jacket and bear spray because it's cold and
Bear
dangerous out there. I'm serious. I saw a
Cyril,
pack
wait a
of
minute.
wild raccoons out there eating a
on.
man alive when
Is
I was
this
shooting my
another
Game
recorded
Gear
one?
piece just a few weeks
He's not
ago.
even here this time. And where are you
I can
all going?
still
The day
hear
off
his
isn't till next
cries
week.
of agony as I
No,
try
no,
to
day off
sleep
at
at
all.
night. Lord, why didn't I go help him? It would have been so easy to
Cyril, are
go
you
and
all right?
help him.
So,
Am
we
I
record a message.
monster?
Cyril.
Lauren, don't answer that. Just go. Get outside and have a great episode. But remember, be safe, and if you see any raccoons, just run the other way.
See everybody next week.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Defunct Games News. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that Lorne will be back next Sunday, apparently live from a forest. I can't wait to see what that's like. Now, here's the question I have for you. Do you want to play your favorite 2D games in 3D? I mean, they're 2D for a reason, right? Or hey, maybe this is a great way to breathe new life into the adventures of Lolo. Let me know in the comments below. In other news, I wasn't kidding in this episode. I've had the worst luck trying to post the 99th episode of Game Over. Every single version I try seems to get flagged. The good news is that I think I have it all figured out. So, fingers crossed, expect this belated episode on Monday. I'm also going to be debuting a new show called This Old Magazine. What's that? Well, I guess you're just gonna have to tune in and find out. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.